Hi, Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to share with you 3 fragrances that are rather new to my collection. So I got a couple of them in the winter. I got one just recently this spring. I hadn't even tried them on my skin because when I smelled them, I'm like, oh, that's more for summer. So I just put them away and now I'm pulling them out and I'm so excited to share them with you because I think they're very gorgeous fragrances. And yeah, before I get started, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that button. Join the Weird Wonderful family. It would be amazing to have you part of the community. And let's get into this. So the first one I'm going to share is probably the most affordable, and I think they're 75 Canadian. It's by Theodoros Kalatinas, and it is Jasmine of Athens. Now, oftentimes Theodoros Kalatinas gets a lot of hype for his gourmands, which are just amazing. So Coffee Addict, Velvet Chocolate, that's very, very thick, decadent chocolate cake, Lemon Tart, Caramel Oud. These are all amazing gourmand fragrances. The most recent one was Pear Gelato and Cherry Powder in this particular line. And again, Pear Gelato is amazing, but this one is one that's not very often heard about. Like, I never hear anyone talk about this, and I think it's such a fantastic tiare fragrance. It's honestly one of my favorite fragrances for summer as far as a beautiful tiare is concerned. Now, this is a very simple composition. It has jasmine in the opening, tiare flower in the heart, and the base is vanilla. What I love about this tiare is that it's really uncomplicated, but there's a lot of sweetness. It almost smells to me as if you took my mouth is starting to water. If you took a tiare flower and then you put powdered icing sugar on it, that's the feel that I get with this one. So it's not too sweet, but it's definitely sweeter than a typical tiare. I prefer this over anything like a bronze goddess, and it's more affordable. So I absolutely love this fragrance. Now, what I love about it, as well as being beautiful on its own, and I've worn it on its own, it lasts a really long time on the skin. So I put this on, I would say it lasted 8 hours, and I'm not sure how long it projected, but I could definitely smell it very present on my skin at the 8-hour mark. So decent longevity for sure. I just love the tiare kind of powdered sugar. It's a little bit creamy smelling somehow. Creamy. It's a creamy floral. The only time I enjoy the word creamy is when it's with floral. Creamy floral. I don't even know what that means, but this smells creamy. I love the fact that it's not got any bergamot in there, which is creating a bit of freshness, but this is not cloying at all. I don't notice the jasmine at all. I'm just getting tiare and vanilla. This is great for layering. So you could layer it with a freshie to add some tiare. You could layer it with a coconut fragrance. You could layer this with pretty much anything if you want to add a little bit of tiare and vanilla. It's so beautiful. To me, it's almost like a floral gourmand because the vanilla is so sweet, so almost whipped smelling. Just gorgeous. Like, to put this with a pineapple fragrance, it's not going to smell like a colada type fragrance, but putting it with a pineapple would be amazing. Like, you could put this with anything and it's going to smell with mango. It would smell amazing. So love this, love it on its own. And yeah, I appreciate the fact that somehow it's simple, but it's not going to get too sickly. Sometimes tiare can be headache inducing. I don't find that with this one. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I don't think it gets talked about enough, so I'm mentioning it, and it's affordable. Like, I love the fact that they've got an affordable line, a niche line that's affordable. They've got a little pricier line. Love a lot of those fragrances too, but this one, so good. If you love tiare, or you want to add a great tiare fragrance that's uncomplicated that you can use to layer, this is so stellar, like beautiful. The next one that I'm so excited about is Chabot Maison de Parfum Caprice Deon. Now, this is a 2024 release, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to start by reading you the notes because there's so many of them. And Chabot Maison de Parfum, again, they're known for their lait line. So lait de concentré, lait de vanille, lait de chocolat, lait de biscuit, all gorgeous fragrances. But the Caprice line, I talked about Caprice de Jeulia recently. That is an amazing fragrance. It's got blueberry and watermelon, but Caprice de Jean is absolutely spectacular as well. This has lychee, pink pepper, pear, mandarin orange, and black currant in the opening. Yes, please! Middle notes are cashmere wood, raspberry, cherry, flowers, rose, and patchouli, and the base is musk, oud, cedar, and amber. Now, don't let that oud scare you. It's very, very in the background. I would never have thought there was oud in this. Like, my mouth is watering. I would never have thought there was oud in this to just smell it on my skin. The prominent note in this is definitely the cherry. Kayali always says the hero note, and I love that saying. So the hero note in Caprice de Jean is definitely a bright, juicy, mouth-watering cherry. It's not dark and liquored up. It's definitely bright and sunshiny smelling, but it doesn't smell like cough syrup. It doesn't smell synthetic. It just smells really bright and juicy. There's definitely a tartness in this, and I get the black currant as well for sure. But for me, the star of the show is definitely that cherry. You get all this delicious fruitiness. It's juicy and mouth-watering. It doesn't feel too sweet, so it kind of stays a little bit more tart sweet. So it's not going to be cloying at all in the summer. But as this dries down, you get a little bit more of that rose, patchouli, just a slight hit of patchouli to me, and then some woodiness. Now, I believe Caprice, thanks to Danny from Deep Green Beauty, she told me this, Caprice is like kind of quirky, a little bit zany, a little bit of a freak out kind of thing. Apparently that's what Caprice means. I looked it up in French and that's what it said. So kind of like zany, quirky, happy, fun. That's what I get out of this in the opening. But then it starts to dry down. This one's a little bit more complex. Starts to dry down and you get a bit of woodiness. You get a little bit of sexiness in there. So long lasting, and I find this would be perfect for, you know, you're going to some daytime event. You want to smell bright, jubilant, slightly green in this too, like just a hint of green. But then as the evening rolls around, you want to smell a little bit more sensual, a little bit more sexy. This one definitely takes a turn and gets you to that kind of more sexy, sensual, a little bit woody with the sweet. So I just think that this is a stellar release. What I've said in the past is the Caprice line reminds me a little bit of the Aqua Allegoria line from Guerlain, but these are a little bit more complex, especially this one, a little more complex, and definitely better longevity, better quality, bang for your buck. Definitely go with this over the Aqua Allegorias. Like, those are nice, but these, the longevity on them is so fantastic. And they're just different. Like, they've got so much going on, but this is like, it's mouth-watering, it's exciting, it's fun, it's flirtatious, it's energizing, and then it gets a little bit sexy there in the dry down. So love it. Now, the last fragrance was one I had to warm up to. This was definitely different, and it is by Bozo's French Kiss. Now, when I first got this, what threw me off is that it has corn in it. Corn, that's a weird note, eh? Like, I think it's kind of a weird note. I'm gonna read you all the notes though. So French Kiss starts off with lemon verbena and neroli. And then in the middle, you have corn, fig, magnolia, barberry, saffron, and cherry blossom, and the base is pearwood, meringue, and amber. I've talked a ton about Habibi, which is one of my favorite fragrances. This one is also so gorgeous. Now, I got hung up on the corn. So at first I'm like, corn, like, so I smelt it. I'm like, I can smell corn. Like, I don't know. Somehow it threw me off. But then I was watching a reviewer. If I knew who it was, I would definitely put it in the description, but I can't remember who it was, but they mentioned the verbena. So I actually pulled it out instantly and I'm like, okay, now it's making sense. Somehow, as soon as I got that there was verbena in there, which is a little bit more of a green, almost citrus feel, then somehow the fragrance made a lot more sense. So I love the green verbena freshness of this fragrance. When I put it on my skin, I get this beautiful freshness, this greenness on my skin. It feels light. It feels calming somehow, and it also feels very sophisticated. It smells almost like if I was walking in a field in the summertime and smelt green hay, not once it's dried. That's a different smell, but kind of green hay. Green hay smells very sweet. Or, you know, the long quack grass or whatever, did you ever pull it out of its socket or whatever and chew on it and suck on it, and it tasted kind of green and kind of sweet? That's a little bit of what this reminds me of. I find it very refreshing and very sophisticated. Now, this gets a horrible rating on Fragrantica, so I think it got 2.74, which is one of the lowest ratings that I've actually seen. It definitely deserves better, I'll say that. I think the issue with this is that it's definitely different. It's nothing like I've smelled before, and so you have to be a little bit open-minded to be able to enjoy this, but I find it relaxing. I find it feels calming, almost a similar feeling to Habibi. I find this to be sophisticated. There's something a little bit prickly in there. It's very complex and nuanced. The longevity is stellar, but it's not going to get overpowering in the heat. In fact, like, it's not been warm here at all. But in the heat, I imagine this would just blossom. I can't wait to smell it in the hotter weather. But I just think it's absolutely beautiful. I love the greenness of this. It's not too sweet by any means. It doesn't smell overly floral. It's mainly almost citrusy, grassy smelling with a bit of a base of corn. You know how corn smells? Like, corn is quite sweet in its nature, and that would be where the sweetness is coming in from. So if anything, I would say the corn adds to that. I think this has fig too. I don't smell any fig. I just smell freshness. So very interesting fragrance, very complex, very polarizing. I think that this is definitely one you have to sniff before. If you bought it and you're used to kind of fruity, feminine, flirty fragrances, this may be really challenging for you, but I am loving it. So, and I can't believe the longevity. Like, seriously, it lasts a good 8-9 hours. So love this one. Definitely different. Definitely, if you're looking for something a little bit quirky, a little bit outside the box, I think this one is definitely worth sniffing. What about you? Have you tried any of these three? Is there something else that you just recently got that you're super excited about? Weigh in the comments, leave your favorites, tell me what you think of these ones. I would love to know. And other than that, I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you soon.